Now, Johannesburg motorists are being urged to plan ahead as several key routes across the city will be closed this weekend. I want to emphasize that this weekend, not just next. That's ahead of the G20 Leaders Summit. Authorities say the closures affecting major highways and inner city roads are part of heightened security preparations for the global gathering. The Road Traffic Management Corporation has warned of significant delays, advising drivers to use alternative routes and allow extra travel time. Let's now get an update on those routes, and joining me now is JMPD Spokesperson Xolani Fihla. Xolani, thank you so much for the time, appreciate it. Perhaps let's just start with a broad overview of some of the major routes, roads and highways that will be closed off for this weekend. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for the opportunity, and let me greet the viewers. Of course, as we are leading up to the G20 Leaders Summit, which is taking place on the weekend of the 22nd and the 23rd of November, which is next weekend, we have been conducting joint coordinate operations leading towards the summit. And of course, these operations have then been affecting several routes within the city of Johannesburg, and particularly going towards this weekend, where we'll be doing our final preparations and operations leading towards next week. And the major routes, of course, that will be affected, it's national and regional routes and arterial and urban routes as well. With the national and regional routes, it's the N1, it's the M1 and the N12. And with the urban routes affecting areas in Sandton and Melrose Arc and Rosebank, Westcliff and Parkview, and Fourways and Roodepoort and in Newzroom. In the Sandton area, the routes that will be affected is Grayston Drive, Catherine Street, Rivonia Road, Daisy Street, Maud Street and Fifth Street, and especially on Grayston Drive, which will be one of the major routes that will be used. And in the Melrose Arc area, it's Atho Oaklands Road, there's Melrose Boulevard, Whitley Road, and in the Rosebank, Westcliff Parkview area, that's in the Randburg area, it's Jan Smuts Avenue, Glenhove Road, and Oxford Road. And in the Fourways area, it's Winnie Mandela Drive. In Roodepoort, it's Hendrik Potgieter Road, and in the Newzroom precinct, it's Golden Highway, Newzroom Road, and Rancho Road. And these operations will be taking place between 9 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. But to reassure our residents that the closures will be periodic, and that's to allow the rolling joint operations to pass. And once the operations have passed through the affected routes and roads, then the roads will be reopened.
Yeah, Xolani, thank you so much for that update, a very important one. How do you balance, though, the need for what is this heightened security, which is very important for a situation like this, but with the daily needs of commuters, including some weekend errands that many will need to be running or have to run?
Definitely, it will be a challenge of some sort for residents, and especially for the weekend if they need to go to malls or places of entertainment. But as I did mention, that to reassure our residents that these closures, even though they are between 9 and 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they are periodic, they are intermittent. So once the operations have passed by, then the roads will be reopened. But we also have alternative routes that motorists can use, like in the Roodepoort area, then they can use Bears Nadir Drive, Christian de Wet Road, on Dirkers Road instead of Hendrik Potgieter Road. In the Fourways area, they can use Main Road, Cedar Road, and Witkoppen Road instead of Winnie Mandela Drive. And within the Sandton, Rosebank, and Parktown area, they can use side streets parallel to Jan Smuts Avenue, Oxford, or Rivonia Road. That's routes like Caller Drive, Sandton Drive, and 11th Avenue. And of course, in the south of Johannesburg, in the Newzroom, it's going to be affecting residents of Riverlea and Monday View. They can use routes like Main Reef Road, Crownwood Road, Soweto Highway, the N17, Aerodrome Road, and Adcock Ingram Road, and also not forgetting Chris Honey Road as well.
All right. Let's just talk then about whether you can confirm clear signage at these areas too, because that's going to be important for motorists who maybe don't catch this update as well that we have here. Visible signage, clear signage, JMPD officers guiding traffic. Is that all going to be in place?
That will definitely be in place, clear signage. And of course, our officers who will be on the ground will then be able to assist motorists with either information or diverting them from the roads that will be affected.
What about just giving real-time updates to commuters or those who will be on the roads? Is there a place where they can look for these, and what platform would that be and what channels?
Definitely, with the real-time updates, you can check with the social media pages. That's either from the JMPD, the City of Johannesburg, or Gauteng Province, and of course with other stakeholders such as the South African Police Services, the Road Traffic Management Corporation, the Gauteng Traffic Police, and GCIS, and of course listening to the radio and watching the news on TV. You can always get real-time updates regarding all the affected routes within the City of Johannesburg. That's for this coming weekend and to the weekend of the G20 Leaders Summit.
What about I mean, if you look at some of these alternative routes, really then, Xolani, some of them are already congested on weekends nonetheless. Has the JMPD been able to coordinate, particularly with traffic engineers, to ensure that even some of these detours will be able to handle this overflow of traffic?
That has always been in mind. Of course, it does happen that if routes are closed off and motorists have to use diverted routes or alternative routes, then we do find that there is some type of traffic buildup or congestion on those routes. So it's something that we do have in mind, and officers will then be monitoring those alternatives as well. And if we do come across any type of congestion or challenges, then officers will be able to mitigate that.
And what about emergency and essential vehicles then? How will they navigate these closures? Are there dedicated corridors maybe that they can use, or even priority lanes that are set up for them?
There aren't any dedicated corridors or priority lanes, but of course, emergency and essential services will always be prioritized. If it's either paramedic or fire emergencies, then roads will then be reopened for them to pass. It will always be prioritized, and also essential services like nurses and doctors as well. We have that in mind as well.
This is effectively a dry run, another dry run for next week. We've already had one before. How ready are you for the following week's events? Of course, in the next 8, 9, 10 days, really, there could be a lot of disruptions on the road. How ready is the JMPD, our roads, as well as all law enforcement infrastructure?
I can say we are 100% ready. We have been doing these operations for a couple of months now, leading towards tomorrow and next week. And what we have seen is that with the plans that are put in place, we are ready, and we are ready to go for this coming weekend and the weekend of the Leaders Summit.
Yeah, there could be some who feel like maybe there wasn't sufficient communication, no matter what that looks like from your end. How do you perhaps speak to residents at this time ahead of tomorrow's proceedings, but also headed into next week?
What we can urge residents, of course, to cooperate and also listen to instructions from officers on our ground. But as I did mention, that if motorists and residents do come across any compromising situations, our officers will be on the ground and they'll be able to assist. But of course, through partnerships with media channels, like with this interview that we're having today, then residents will then be updated with any information going forward.
All right, Xolani Fihla, thank you so much for the time. JMPD spokesperson there, giving us the latest with regards to the road closures for this weekend ahead of the G20 Leaders Summit, which leads off in the south of Johannesburg near Newzroom. Motorists encouraged to plan their journeys for this weekend.